Hey guys, it's your host Amanda Joy Christensen coming in for Valley Views from your favorite city in the world. And if it's not, Las Vegas should be. I'm super excited to just drop in another fantastic episode. Okay, hold on. It's been a minute since I have recorded. I have had a really great week. If you've been following me on social media, you know that I started a new job for an amazing company, which I'm going to give a little tidbit on as I start. And truthfully, I was going to dedicate tonight's episode to this family anyway, because their company is celebrating 50 years here in Las Vegas. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, let me take a moment and give you the station's casino intro. Today, we are diving into one of the Las Vegas's most influential families, the Fertittas, the powerhouse owners behind Stations Casino and the parent company to Red Rock Resorts. Founded by Frank Fertitta Jr. in the 1970s, the company transformed Vegas gaming by focusing strictly on locals instead of tourists, creating neighborhood casinos that became part of the everyday Vegas culture. Now led by brothers Frank Fertitta III and Lorenzo Fertitta, the family has expanded the empire into luxury resorts, entertainment, sports, and even the UFC world. From Palace Station to Red Rock Resort, their story is deeply tied to the growth, grit, and evolution of what we call modern day Las Vegas. For 50 years, Stations Casinos has helped shape the heartbeat of local Las Vegas, and now the Fertitta family's gaming empire is throwing a citywide celebration to match the milestone. This July, the company is honoring 5 decades with fireworks, drone shows, concerts, vintage Vegas throwbacks, food specials, giveaways, and community events across Southern Nevada properties, including all station casino destinations like Palace Station, Red Rock Resort, and Green Valley, to name a few. What started in 1976 as a small local casino with just 100 slot machines has now grown into one of the most influential hospitality brands in Nevada and deeply continues to tie to Vegas families, neighborhoods, and culture. Their 50th anniversary isn't just about the casinos, it's about the evolution of modern Las Vegas itself. If you're new to Stations Casino or you're new to Valley Views, I'm really excited to share that hospitality, I'm back in it. I had an opportunity to join the brand sales team, and I'm super excited to join the Stations family. Everything about the brand, if you are not familiar, I just told you, focusing on locals. For the longest time, Stations Casinos has continued to employ locals. They focus on generational family training. They do internal promoting. And fun fact I found out in my first week, the Fertitta family and Stations Casino family really will be the only family to build outside of the strip future casino and gaming properties. No one else is allowed. So when I had the opportunity to drink the Kool-Aid, but also just step in and spend 2 full weeks with the stations team I'm working with, I'm really just excited to step into what has been 50 years of legacy, 50 years of family, 50 years of employing locals who were sitting at the slot machine as a gamer to, coming back and becoming an employee, keeping generational leadership, training, as well as management at the heart of all they do. They also continue to invest in their properties. And with the July 1st, 50th celebration at Palace Station, they will be kicking off at 9 p.m. a fireworks and drone show. This will be a free firework and drone show that is available for viewing on the surface parking lots. Into the weekend, Red Rock, along with Green Valley Ranch, Durango, Boulder Station, Santa Fe, and Sunset, will continue to have fireworks for all. There have been so many years where I reminisce on all of the places I've watched fireworks in the valley. And to be very honest with you, they were always at a Stations Casino. Whether it was Sunset the first year my son was born, or the year 2019, July 4th, right before the COVID, I watched with the Fertitta brothers from Vetri the fireworks over the city. And I remember standing in that moment alone at the Palms and thinking like, it didn't matter what someone's title was when you're celebrating. It doesn't matter your role when your energy matches the experience and what you're creating. And I inherited this week legacy accounts that have been in this organization, but to me, humans that have lived here as locals their entire life. And let me tell you, even when I was at the Durango Saturday night watching the hockey game, I received like what would have been a complaint, but now that I work for the company, in my mind, it was a criticism in a good way to just have an understanding of what locals are looking for. And as a local, and as someone who continues to write about safety, who writes about family, and who writes about legacy leaders in hospitality, when I had the opportunity to join the station's team, I said yes because I think about some of the most iconic people that I followed outside of my hospitality journey were industry leaders within the station's community. And some of my longtime successful friends I admire the fact that entrepreneurship, leadership, mentorship, community service, and heart is at the base of what their organization does. So will be excited to share more as my role grows and just stepping in and being able to join the team right before they gear up to celebrate and honor 50 years of family, hospitality, legacy, and yes, gaming in Las Vegas. I'm really just excited to start profiling and showcasing what I'm experiencing. And I will share this. My first week, Vegas Polly C was there making a video. And at first I'm like walking through the casino like, oh, I'm just here working. It's my first week. And then I look over and I see Vegas Polly C and I'm like, oh my God, is Vegas Polly C? Is this place that cool? And then I'm like, yeah. It's pretty cool. Stations is iconic. I think outside of the Plaza, Las Vegas, when they celebrated their 50th, which I missed, um, I haven't really got to step in and honor or see the heart of another hospitality brand like this. And I'm just really, really, really excited. So flipping from that, I want to go into Stanley Cup. For as much as I want to continue talking on that, I think that there is a huge, huge, huge piece of news coming out of Las Vegas that so many people are not talking about. And obviously, yes, the Stanley Cup, the Golden Knights, they're winning. But I was insanely trolled last week after I put my hockey episode out about being publicly a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights with the controversy around Carter Hart and Brett Howden. And as many of you know, on my podcast, I talk about anyone and everyone's viewpoint. And I've openly discussed that sexual harassment and discrimination continues to happen. But when I was attacked for liking my hockey team, that in my mind, the players will change, the coaches will change, but the symbol of what the Vegas Golden Knights mean to me and so many people here in Las Vegas, it's not about one player. Um, so I want to take some time and talk about how amazing it has been to be a family-oriented person here watching the Stanley Cup series. I had the opportunity to take my son to a block party, a watch party at the Uncommons, and it was absolutely fun. It was great. Create Media sponsored the trucks. There was great just games out, cornhole, fun stuff for the kids to do. They had chairs out, they had fans out, like fans to keep you cool because it was hot, and fans like the Golden Knights fans. And I got to hang out with other moms and dads in my neighborhood that I would not have gotten to be around had I not had that shared interest in hockey. And I think back to pre like hockey in Las Vegas. I lived here for 10 years before hockey happened in the desert. And everything about what was happening here was gaming. Everything about why people came to Las Vegas was to game. That was it. And other stuff. But the other stuff I won't talk about because now I just announced who I'm working for and I don't want to make a controversial episode the first week. So the other stuff that people came to Vegas for, was adult themed. And although the adult things were fun, it plagued what families could do here. And let me clarify, hockey had always been in the desert. There was always an EHL team here. There was always a following for hockey. There was always an imprint. But when the expansion team came and handpicked the misfits and brought them to the middle of the desert outside of Derek, England, n nobody gave a shit about Vegas as home. And even me, as someone working in the hospitality industry, when I moved here, I always had this intention and dream like, I'm going to just live in Vegas for a little while and then I'm going to go back to New York and I'm going to go live on the East Coast and I'm going to go run some big hotel there. But that never happened. I stayed here. And 20 years later, I watch what was one street of hotels with no skyscrapers become skyscrapers and stadiums and art and mega music places where other cities now in America are competing with us and we never could even compete. So when hockey came, it was the first thing, too, I've talked in my other episodes that allowed people to all be the same. When you worked in the casino industry, there was always the hierarchy. So you always knew who the VIPs were, you always knew who the executives were, and there was an expected separation of hierarchy. But what hockey did is everyone took off their suits and jackets and dresses and hats and they all threw on their jerseys and sat next to each other in stadiums. And suddenly the people that were your bosses were now your friends, or the people that were, I don't know, one time, literally, it's a true story. I was sitting next to Sean Temptress. He was on the radio. No idea who he was, but I bought an extra ticket and I just went to the game and like he was like, you were the most fun person to like randomly buy my seat next to me because you could buy like tickets and go back in the day. And so like I Googled who he was after, but like sometimes you didn't even know who you were going to sit next to, and it could be somebody as interesting as like Sean, who's hysterical, him and his wife. And like I think about it now, like these people were just my friends of my city, but they were just like Golden Knights fans. Like I didn't. It was the first. I guess what I'm trying to say is like it was the first time everyone could just be the same in Las Vegas without the hierarchy kicking in, and then being able to have places where families could go, like City National Bank, to watch the teams warm up for free. Even if you couldn't afford a ticket to the game, you could still take your kids, just like, they're doing with playoffs now, and the kids could see the guys skate and meet them outside. And like, it just doesn't happen like that in other cities. Like, the hockey culture of Las Vegas is the first thing that ever was for families. So anyone that's looking to I'm not minimizing the Carter Hart case. Like, I'm not. And I'm someone who's been so outspoken about this topic that if we're going to talk Carter Hart case, well, then we might as well shut down the whole internet and just eliminate the whole problem that perpetuates the reason that these cases happen. And I guess that's the best way to put it in the most like PC way. And I think about it now, it's 9 years in. The Golden Knights continue to be the band of misfits, the mismatched players, the young bucks that everybody has cast aside and completely just continue to like belittle and annihilate and just destroy. And as someone who just lived through the last year of my own smear campaign from people who just didn't know me and made an assumption about me, and then tried to destroy my life. I feel bad for people who are in the spotlight because they love what they do and then find themselves being criticized only because they're in the spotlight. This season with the Vegas Golden Knights back in March, if you looked at them statistically before we got the new coach, we weren't even contenders. We were sitting, I think, fourth. And even when the coach, Bruce Cassidy, was let go, so many people in the city were like, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. And I looked at it as no. Sometimes leadership has to change. Sometimes you need someone with a heart, someone with a soul, someone who cares about humans and passion and lighting the fire inside of someone else. Because the hockey team that I've seen playing has a fire under them that back in March, they didn't. And sometimes it's not about focusing on the negative things that everyone is saying around you, but being in a room of leaders who can ricochet that away. One of the biggest things when I thought about going back to work was this. Am I going to be in an environment where people have my back, or am I going to be in an environment where people stab it? And I've walked through both sides of that. And I've had to publicly defend myself this year on my platform multiple times because of lies that were spread. But I've learned one thing, that if you're okay with telling your truth because it is the truth, the only people that feel uncomfortable are the ones that just mismanaged it. So, as I get ready to close out this episode, guys, a lot is going to happen this month. June, honestly, when I talked about June being my biggest month, that was before I took the job with Stations. That was before I had the opportunity um, to join this team. But I have the opportunity to write something that will elevate conversation around Las Vegas on a global platform that'll be released on MSN next week. And when at first I was approached to write the article, I thought it was funny because I'm like, I'm not that important. But I realized that importance comes not out of expectation or out of being pushed. Importance comes when you step away from the toxic behavior in your own life and you step into the role of the person that God shows you you can be. And even in the most controversial season of hockey, the Vegas Golden Knights are still winning. And even in the most controversial season of my own life, I'm still winning in ways that I didn't even know I could win. And sometimes it's being in the crossfires that help you recognize when you hit a golden opportunity, you know when it feels different. You know when the expectation of who you are for your skills are more important than who you are for how you look on the outside. I want to leave everyone with this. June is Men's Mental Health Month. And as we continue to live in a society, even that I've been guilty of, where women can belittle or put down men. hmm I want to say it's okay, guys, to mess up, and it's okay to apologize, and it's okay to like not be perfect in a world where like you think you should be. And I think that that is probably like the biggest thing, you know, um, I've learned. I don't care if I'm honest, and I don't care if it hurts your feelings by me being honest. But I've learned that it's better to be honest in life and just put it out there than ever try to lie or pretend. And 1 year ago, this week was the brunch for Slang Vegas. It was the author's brunch. And I had truthfully just like gone through the worst month of my life, and it would continue up until January of this past year. And there were so many things that I wanted in my life in that moment a year ago that I have now. But the things that I had to lose along the way, it hurt. But the version of who I'm growing into be, the woman and the voice of Vegas that I want to be as a civic leader and entrepreneur and employee and community advocate was worth it all. It was worth burning it down and looking it in the eye, the big green envy monsters of my life, and just walking in a direction where none of that existed. And every single time I get the chance to meet someone in person that now knows me from my show or just knows me from my career, I remember what it was like to show up here knowing this many people and having this much knowledge about Las Vegas. That why would I walk away? Why would I not want to invest another, God willing, 50 years to live here? It's one of the most iconic cities in the world. Some of the most brilliant, most resilient people I've ever met who have minds like you would not believe, who bring sporting events here and shows and concerts and things that you cannot even fathom unless you've lived it. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, and neither is Valley Views. Because the good news is I'm still allowed to have my show, even if I'm an employee somewhere. Because the value of what I'm doing here was never about being famous or making money. It was about giving somebody with this much knowledge a blueprint or a story or frickin' Valley View to change their perspective on why families deserve to have a safer, better city and why industries like data centers don't belong here, but film studios should, and education programs and art and music centers. And we shouldn't be focusing on building things like more homes or more data centers that are going to take away from the future of what the next 50 years could look like. Because I'm sure families like the Fertittas have already thought about what this city will be like in 50 years. And let me tell you, the blueprint that they have to continue to invest in growth, leadership, and also generational family stability here in the state is what also ranked them one of the best companies to work for in the entire nation. They're one of the only companies as well in the entire country that offers a roadmap for citizenship. Crazy. So as I stand here in June of 2026, week one down as a stations employee, but 77 episodes in as a host of Valley Views, I cannot wait to catch you guys on the next episode. The interview episodes that I have coming up are going to be kind of kooky and fun and brilliant, just like me, but just like this eclectic city of Las Vegas, the one that I'm so lucky to call home, and the one that in the next week, I hopefully get to see my Vegas Golden Knights bring the Stanley Cup back. And it has nothing to do with one or two players, but the vision that those Knights put down in year one to always advance, no matter what, and to be Vegas strong because the families that live in this city deserve it. And the children who are growing up here, mine included, deserve it too. So I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Valley Views. Same time. Well, maybe different time, but same place. Wherever you can find your podcasts or YouTube. I'll see you soon and stay tuned for that reading about me in MSN. I can't wait to share the article. It's going to be great. Have a great, great rest of your night. And I'll catch you guys soon. By the way, go Knights, go.